Hello and welcome to Living in the Lehigh Valley, where our focus is your health and wellness. I'm Brittany Sweeney.
And I'm Grover Silcox. This is a special end-of-year episode of Living in the Lehigh Valley.
That's right. As another year comes to a close, we are looking back at a few of the health and wellness stories we've shared with you.
These are the videos that received the most views on our PBS 39 YouTube channel.
And before we start, I just want to encourage you to check it out at YouTube/PBS 39 and watch some of the incredible stories of perseverance and recovery that our friends and neighbors have shared with us right here on Living in the Lehigh Valley. And while you're there, take a second to subscribe to our channel. It's a quick and easy way to support public media.
First up, a story about strep infections in kids that can lead to neuropsychiatric conditions.
Yeah, the two related conditions can cause sudden and significant changes in a child's mental and behavioral health. This is a tale about a mother who would stop nothing to figure out what was ailing her son and the doctor who finally provided some answers.
So basically you're on an island with 100 players and the goal is to be the last one standing.
Like many 12-year-old boys, Matthew Blaine loves gaming.
So now I'm just going down here and I'm trying to get guns.
In fact, many of the Nazareth preteen's interests and behaviors are typical for a kid his age.
I like video games, soccer, hockey. I like watching TV. I like building forts. I like just going in my room and playing around with my Legos.
Very smart, very funny, silly. He just wants people to laugh all the time. He's very trusting, he's very honest. This was right before he first got his glasses.
But a few years ago, Matthew's mom, Nicole, noticed her oldest son acting not so typical for his age.
Everything started at around 5. We started noticing some things like the infections and little things he wasn't listening that well, so it wasn't really a big deal until he reached 4th grade. That's when I was getting phone calls from the school all the time for behaviors and the separation anxiety was really bad.
I just get really mad sometimes and it's hard to remember things a lot of the times and I don't like it at all.
Matthew, what do you want for dinner, honey?
Chicken nuggets.
I don't know what's in his control and what's out of his control. When he's not listening and stuff, sometimes he has no memory of what happens. He'll be crying and there were times where he was spitting and just acting out of control, but he doesn't remember sometimes after it.
The mom of 3 knew something was off, so she set out to get some answers.
I got this one for Christmas.
He was diagnosed with ADHD, ODD, anxiety, social pragmatic communication disorder, and a tic disorder. He was on 4 or 5 different medications for that stuff and nothing helped.
The behaviors persisted, but so did Nicole. She scoured the internet and found information about 2 neuropsychiatric disorders referred to as PANS and PANDAS.
And I read all of the symptoms and I was like, well, this fits. So I had to go to the pediatrician and tell him that I wanted all the blood work. He argued with me about it, but he did eventually order it.
Matthew's blood work came back high for strep.
He would always get strep skin infections. He never actually got the strep throat. He would always get raw open infections on his skin.
It's like a rash, but I don't really feel it at all.
The family was finally getting some answers. A specialist Nicole found in Long Island diagnosed Matthew with PANDAS, then referred him to a doctor closer to the Lehigh Valley.
PANS, P-A-N-S, stands for Pediatric Acute Onset Neuropsychiatric Syndrome, and that can be caused by both viruses and bacteria. Some of the more common ones are Mycoplasma, which is the germ that causes walking pneumonia, the flu, COVID, and strep. When the condition is triggered by strep, it's called PANDAS. So PANDAS is actually a subset of PANS. And PANDAS stands for Pediatric Autoimmune Neuropsychiatric Disorder Associated with Streptococcal Infection.
Dr. Angela Camasto is Matthew's pediatrician from the Woodlands Healing Research Center.
I focus on complex chronic medical problems like autism, PANS and PANDAS, ADHD, Lyme, Bartonella, tick-borne illnesses, that sort of thing.
The mission of the Quakertown nonprofit is to treat people with chronic medical illness, in addition to providing primary care for all ages.
We are similar to conventional medicine in that we do take insurance, but we are different in that we are looking for root causes of illness and using some integrative and holistic methods to try to heal the person's body.
Gamasto says PANS and PANDAS are two types of inflammatory brain conditions that occur when an immune response gets misdirected. So instead of targeting the infection, it causes inflammation in the brain, which causes psychiatric conditions.
A typical PANS or PANDAS case will present with an abrupt onset of OCD or eating restriction, usually at the same time as an illness or shortly after, maybe even up to 1 to 2 months after. Some of the OCD behaviors to be aware of are excessive hand washing, sometimes an overwhelming sense of guilt and needing to confess even the smallest mistakes, compulsions to go through routines and rituals for simple activities of daily living. Sometimes the child may need constant reassurance, which would represent with repeated questions over and over again, like, is the door locked? Is the meat cooked? That sort of thing.
The pediatrician says there are 3 criteria she uses to diagnose the conditions.
So the first criteria is, again, the abrupt onset of OCD or eating restriction. The second criteria, you have to have 2 other neuropsychiatric symptoms from a list of 7.
Those criteria can be found on websites like the Neuroimmune Foundation and the PANS and PANDAS Network.
And then the third requirement is that you're making sure that you rule out any other kind of medical or neurologic condition. So in a sense, this diagnosis is a diagnosis of exclusion. You always want to be considering other more severe or appropriate diagnoses for the situation.
This one I just got last weekend, and I built it together in 5 minutes.
In Matthew's case, he was able to receive a diagnosis in 2023 and has been undergoing treatment ever since. With the right treatment, doctors say the symptoms of PANS or PANDAS will eventually go away.
You know, Britt, considering the limited resources on the topic, it's not surprising that folks are, clicking on the PBS 39 YouTube link to learn more.
Yeah, I think it's one more way people are getting some resources there.
Right.
All right, well, moving on to our next story. It's about a rare form of eye cancer.
Yeah, I caught up with a Lehigh Valley man who knew nothing about ocular melanoma until a beloved aunt was diagnosed with it.
Most people will never know what it's like to battle ocular melanoma or eye cancer. According to the Ocular Melanoma Foundation, it's a rare form of cancer that strikes approximately 2,500 Americans each year, a fraction of the population. But if you or a loved one is among the 7 in a million people diagnosed every year with this disease, the words ocular melanoma become life-changing.
Aunt Georgia was my Uncle John's wife, so my mother's brother's wife. And, she was my aunt, but we weren't that many years apart in age. She's like 7 or 8 years older than me, so she was more of like a big sister to me than an aunt, somebody I could talk to, confide in. She was really special. She was 45 years old. I believe she got diagnosed in 2014. So in 2017 is when she passed. She fought it for 3 years.
Michael Dantes, co-owner of the Copperhead Grill in Allentown in Center Valley, shares memories of his beloved Aunt Georgia Condolian, who fought and ultimately succumbed to metastatic ocular melanoma.
I'm not exactly sure of the symptoms. I know she always had like a little blemish in the corner of her eye, so I don't know if it was something that was there for a long time, and it just went undiagnosed.
Symptoms of ocular melanoma include a growing dark spot, blurry vision in one eye, flashes of light, floaters, or a change in the shape of the pupil.
Usually, a patient who is getting eye examination every year, they may not have any symptoms. They are found to have this spot in the eye, which grow over the year.
Oncologist Dr. Takami Sato, a leading expert on ocular melanoma, serves as a physician and researcher with the Melanoma Research Institute of Excellence at Jefferson Health's Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center in Philadelphia.
This is more dominant for the Caucasian, light eyes, fair skin, a similar risk factor for skin melanoma. This type of the person should have eye examination dilated eye examination every year.
Ocular melanoma develops in the uvea, or middle layer of the eye, where it's often difficult to detect. Unfortunately, it can also spread to other parts of the body, predominantly to the liver.
If the tumor is considered to be aggressive, we have to be very careful. And then we have to keep watching it very carefully, especially this tumor go to the liver if spread out. So therefore we keep watching any tumor development in the liver and then lung.
Dr. Sato advises individuals who have had a general eye exam in which a potential cancer or concern was spotted to seek confirmation and treatment from a specialist.
You should go to the ocular oncologist, eye doctor who is specialized in cancer, because sometimes diagnosis is kind of very difficult.
Since Georgia Kondalian's battle with this disease, research and treatment has made progress.
She was going over to Lehigh Valley Anderson campus bi-weekly to get treatment. When she was diagnosed, there was like one clinical trial. So now they've added like 3 or 4 more.
Dr. Sato and his colleagues and partners in research now see promising new ways to help patients fight this disease through immunotherapy, radiation therapy, laser therapy, surgery, and other technologies. They are even working on a vaccine to prevent the cancer.
We spent already 5 or 10 years to develop the vaccine, eye melanoma vaccine construct.
Dr. Sato remains optimistic that one day a vaccine will be approved. Of course, research and testing takes money. Michael Dantes, his family, and employees are doing their part. They hold an annual golf outing at Center Valley's Wedgewood Country Club specifically to raise funds for research.
So myself and my cousin Mike, we have the same name. I go by Junior. He goes by Senior because he's a few years older than me. He's my business partner. He's the other owner. He's involved. Our wives are involved. Our family's involved. And we've been doing it. Our team is involved, the Copperhead team, a lot of our staff helps out.
Last year, they raised more than $27,000. And every year, they donate that money to Jefferson's Melanoma Research Institute through the Ocular Melanoma Foundation in memory of Aunt Georgia.
This year, Mike and the other Mike and the whole Dantes family and network of friends raised more than $21,000 at their annual golf outing in Center Valley. That makes a total of over $165,000 donated to date.
An incredible feat for sure.
Absolutely, and so helpful.
Absolutely. And another popular video on our YouTube page this year is about environmental wellness.
In May of 2024, Goodwill Keystone initiated a new fee-free e-waste recycling program.
Trashing old TVs comes with a price. Townships often require permits and fees to take electronics. Scrappers might take that flat screen for parts, but then dump the rest who knows where, so the environment pays the price. Now, Goodwill Keystone area thrift shops and ReWorld, a sustainable waste recycling company, have teamed up to offer an alternative.
Thank you for your donation.
Now, anyone can drop off their old electronics for free at any one of 42 Goodwill Keystone area stores, including 3 in the Lehigh Valley.
So you can see we accept any kind of TV, from the old large back tube TVs to flat screens. There's a toaster oven in there, and I'm sure we have some computers and other household electronics in there as well. And all these will be recycled responsibly. It was kind of amazing to see all this stuff starting to come, because all of a sudden there was this publicized free drop-off that said, bring all your stuff and we'll take care of it. And it came. We collected through December 1.4 million pounds of electronics in a program that our initial goal for the first year was 500,000 pounds. And we estimate by June we're going to collect over 2 million pounds of electronics.
Broken or unusable electronics go to ReWorld. If the items still work, Goodwill Keystone resells them along with all its other lightly used merchandise.
Anytime that you donate, your DSR, the representative, can give you one of these receipts, and the receipt you can claim on your taxes or however else you would use it.
And as part of our e-waste program, we get in a lot of electronics for your kitchen. We have toasters, we have popcorn makers, coffee makers.
They see about 300 donors a day, a number that's up since they started to accept electronics.
We have irons, we will have printers, almost anything you could possibly think of that you would need in your home, we may have it here. The electronic waste program has been doing great. It has increased our donations. People are thrilled that they have somewhere where they can bring their items. We don't limit them on how many items they can bring or how big the items are.
Goodwill Keystone's e-waste recycling program complements its long-standing mission to responsibly recycle, reuse, or resell donated clothes, housewares, and other items to reduce waste and improve the environment.
We accept between 45 and 46 million pounds of donations on an annual basis. Of that, roughly 67, almost 70%, we find some avenue of resell, recycle, reuse.
In addition to promoting environmental sustainability, Goodwill uses the funds generated through sales to help train and place folks with barriers to employment.
You go out into the public and everybody you see walking around, they're our customer in one shape or form, whether they be a donor, a shopper, somebody that we helped with job training. To give you an example, if you went into a Pennsylvania, we all have Pennsylvania driver's license, and you go in and you have your license taken to get your new license. Chances are the person that took your picture and handed you the license is a Goodwill employee.
Recently, Goodwill Keystone and ReWorld received the William M. Heenan Jr. Pennsylvania Recycling Markets Development Award.
It just adds to our mission of being able to advance sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, we're talking about the environment, the community. Sustainability is many different things. So it advances all that.
The Goodwill brand, cultivated for over 100 years, continues finding value, especially in people. Donors, customers, community, and its own employees.
I love coming to work working for Goodwill Keystone area. I feel like I have a purpose when I'm at work, and I enjoy what we do.
It's rewarding. I did not know 9 years ago what all Goodwill was, and now spending 9 years here to find out all the good that Goodwill does do, it makes the job something special.
In the first year of the fee-free e-waste program, Goodwill Keystone recycled about 1.6 million pounds of electronics. Now, according to its Vice President of Sustainability, Bruce Brockman, that figure has leaped to about 3 million pounds in 6 months.
That's a lot of TVs.
It really is.
A good
lot of
program
flat screens.
Yeah, helping the environment for sure. Now we head into the Living in the Lehigh Valley kitchen.
We are joined by a nutritionist from Lehigh Valley Health Network who's showing us some healthy holiday recipes.
We are back in the kitchen here for Living in the Lehigh Valley. I have Rachel Sotolano from Sodexo. She's a Sodexo dietitian with Lehigh Valley Health Network, part of Jefferson Health. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So we're preparing a couple dishes in preparation for our holiday meals, whether this just be a lunch on a regular workday or if you want to bring it to your holiday table. So the first one you're making today is an appetizer, right?
Yes. So we have the holiday chicken salad.
Great. So what do we have here?
Yeah, so it is shredded chicken, and I already have a Greek yogurt base in with the chicken. I personally don't like mayonnaise, so I use a Greek yogurt as the base instead of mayo. Provides extra protein as well as some probiotics. It also lowers the sodium, also lowers the cholesterol and saturated fat content, so the Greek yogurt is just a healthier alternative than mayo.
That's what I was just going to say. I know a lot of people don't really love the mayo. I love mayo in my chicken salad, but the Greek yogurt is a great option as well if you're trying to make it a little bit healthier. All right, so we've shredded our chicken. Is there any particular chicken that you use for this, whether it be a rotisserie or something that you're cooking, a chicken breast, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so you could use a boiled chicken breast and shred it up. You can use the rotisserie chicken. I personally used a rotisserie chicken. You can, a lot of grocery stores these days, you can buy it already shredded up. So any kind of shredded chicken, you can also chop up like a chicken breast as well.
Great, so chicken breast or rotisserie chicken, we are ready to go. Okay, what do we do next?
So we're gonna add in some veggies. We have some fruit, some nuts as well.
Awesome.
So we're gonna add in some paprika.
So this is a holiday chicken salad, so we're making it a little bit colorful for the season, right?
Some red and some green. We also have some dried cranberries that we're gonna throw in there
Great.
as well.
And
as
are we
little
just
as much as you want.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, are we just eyeballing this if we like them, we don't like them, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I did use some measurements, but you can eyeball it if you'd prefer less of the nuts or less of the celery. You know, you can kind of customize it as you'd like.
Wonderful. All right.
Yes. And then we're gonna add in some celery.
Great, and I'll hand these, I'll be your lovely assistant here.
Thank
some
you
more
so
celery.
much.
And it looks like, I don't usually put green peppers in mine, but this looks delicious.
Yes, just
a little
add some
extra crunch.
Yes, extra veggies, extra crunch.
Great.
And green for the holidays.
Wonderful.
As well. So I'll mix that up first.
Okay.
And then we will add in our pecans. You
Great.
can use any nut of choice as well.
And today we're using this as an appetizer. So what are we going to be serving it with to make it an appetizer? This looks like something you could put on a sandwich or a wrap. It were on top of your regular salad as well as an entree, but today we're using it as an appetizer.
Yes, so we can serve this with like cucumbers or pepper slices if you want to use a veggie. You could also use like mini toasts. Today we're going to use crackers. I have the Triscuit Thin Crisp crackers. You could also use, some of my favorite brands would be like Simple Mills has a good healthy cracker option, or Good Thins has some like gluten-free options as well. So that, and also lots of different flavors with the crackers. So a lot of options there.
Great, Rachel, while you're mixing that up and making sure everything's really combined there, tell us a little bit about the program, the nutritional program at Sodexo. You work alongside and within the Lehigh Valley Health Network hospitals, as well as Lehigh Valley, part of Jefferson Health now, of course.
Yes, so I personally work inpatient with our admitted patients to the hospital, customizing their, dietary needs based on, why they're in the hospital. But we do also have dietitians outpatient that specialize in, weight management, oncology, pediatrics, a whole array of things, diabetes as well. So we have a lot of dietitians outpatient that patients can see when they're not admitted to the hospital, and they do individual meal plans and really get personalized with the patient's needs. Disease related or not, we can help outpatient or inpatient.
Sure. Why is it so important for folks to be pairing, a nutrition plan with, say, a medical plan where they're on a regimen of medications? Why is it so important to make sure you're watching what you eat as well?
Yeah, so different diseases and conditions have, certain nutrition needs that can help, manage the disease or condition, or can help with the recovery of the condition. So it's very important to figure out, what's the problem, what's the condition that you have, and then how can my nutrition prevent it from getting worse, or help me to get better.
Great. All right, let's plate up this chicken salad. This looks absolutely delicious, and let me tell you, around the holiday season, I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for ways to swap out some calories, especially with all the parties we're going to right now and all of the family gatherings. This is just a nice light appetizer that folks can kind of put on a plate and get some extra protein in there. Wonderful. All right, so this is our appetizer here, our chicken salad appetizer. We'll put that there. Rachel, so tell us, what are the ingredients inside the chicken salad?
Yeah, so the chicken salad is shredded chicken, Greek yogurt. I use the Oikos 000, plain Greek yogurt. And then we have dried cranberries, green peppers, some celery, as well as some paprika, salt, and pepper. And then you can either add the pecans into it, or you can top it off on the top.
Great. On to the main dish now. So what are we making?
So I am Italian. So as you know, Italians celebrate the Feast of the Seven Fishes. So today I have a simple garlic shrimp recipe for us to, try out. It has lemon juice, capra brine juice, some garlic, salt, pepper, and butter as the base.
Great.
Then you just kind of cook those shrimp up.
Great.
Cook those ingredients into it. It's really quick and easy. Maybe took me 10 minutes.
Great. Should we throw it in the pan, heat it up a little bit? Now we've kind of pre-cooked this for the magic of TV to get things rolling a little bit. But in the meantime, so this can be one of the 7 fishes. And if folks don't do the 7 fishes, this can be part of their meal as well. What are we garnishing this with today?
So we are garnishing this with some parsley. You can use rosemary. That works really well with the holidays as well. So we're gonna add that on top. Also, I've cooked the parsley in the sauce as well. So it just provides some extra flavor, extra garnish, presentation with the holidays. If you're having some friends or family over, you want to make it look nice as well.
Great, we're chopping up that. What's the trick? What's the trick here when you're chopping stuff and you want to make sure it's really fine? What's the insider secret?
I'm not a chef, so I don't even know if I'm doing it correctly. But when it comes to the herbs, just bundling it up together, kind of chopping as you go.
Great, great. And adding those fresh herbs just for an extra kick of the health and everything like that.
Yes.
Making this recipe extra rich in nutrients. Great. So
Yes.
that's our shrimp right here.
Yes, and the shrimp is a great source of protein as well. You can swap it out. You can even do this recipe with any kind of like seafood or fish that you'd like. I think it's a very versatile sauce that you can use with anything, even if it's not shrimp.
Wonderful.
And then, with the Feast of the Seven Fishes, you have plenty of options there as well.
Yeah, and we can actually throw that right on here with our chicken salad if you'd like. This looks absolutely delicious. I'm going to try a little piece of the chicken salad, but for those who want to get some new ideas for healthy recipes, to try to do some of these swaps like the mayo for the yogurt, how can they get that information? Is there anywhere that Sodexo shares some of this information?
Yeah, so the dietitians, if you're working with a dietitian through our network, they can always provide some healthier substitutions, like I said, with the Greek yogurt and the mayo, just providing some extra nutrition. But also, the internet is a great resource these days with AI and Pinterest. Everybody's looking for those healthy, high-protein recipes, so I think good nutritional swap outs are just so much more readily available these days than they used to be.
Absolutely, and with the holidays here, as I said, swapping out any calories that we can right now is the goal, especially as we move into the new year and we all want to eat a little bit healthier. Rachel, what are the ingredients for our shrimp that we're making for the Feast of the Seven Fishes, or just when we want to have a shrimp recipe?
Yeah, so I used olive oil as the healthy fat of choice to cook the shrimp in, and then I added some lemon juice, garlic, capper brine juice, salt, and pepper to make the sauce for the shrimp.
So Rachel, this looks absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for sharing some of these holiday favorites from your menu. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Wow, that looks tasty.
Really good. Yeah, good ones there.
Well, that will do it for this end of year episode of Living in the Lehigh Valley. For PBS 39, I'm Grover Silka.
And I'm Brittany Sweeney, hoping you stay happy and healthy, and Happy New Year.